Okay, so hi, hello, and welcome to another day of my equestrian life. And today I'm going to ride Sebastian. But before I ride him, you'll see I have him in a reins with 2 pairs of reins today and a halter and a bit. Normally, I would recommend that you have a rope, but I have the reins right now, so I'm just going to use them. But I wanted to do a bit of groundwork with him today because he's getting a little rusty on his groundwork. Out in the field, he's been a little pushy with his personal space and my personal space. And I just want to remind him that he can't always be stepping on top of me. So I was just going to show you a few groundwork exercises I use just to sort of get their mind going. A few of them I use a lot in my riding. A lot of them I use in the field to move them around, away and towards from me. So I'll show you. So the first one I like to use, you're actually going to take your rope and you're going to throw it over their head. So you're actually going to be using it. I don't use his bit. I use a halter. So this one's connected to his halter, not his bit. And it's connected to one side of his halter so that I have this pressure side of the face. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and this is sort of going towards riding. And first I'm going to look at his butt before I use my whip. This is sort of just for show and for directing a pressure. I'm not really going to use it. And I'm going to go, and I'm going to give him a tug. And he should move his quarter up. Now I should be able to come and I should be able to reach him. And as soon as my hand reaches for his area and I release my eye pressure from his hindquarters, he's supposed to stop. Now this is a good exercise if you have a horse that's how would you say? He likes to swing his hindquarters around, or you need to be able to move your horse while it's standing. I use this exercise a lot. Say I'm washing him up and I need him to straighten his body out. I just go. And then I reach for him and he stops. And then I pet him. That's all. Some horses can be a little testy about it because it can be a sort of you're asking him to move away from your pressure. If you have more of a bossier horse, they can show a bit more of a fight, like my mare back there. When I first taught her to teach her that, she did try to kick my face. So when you're first starting to teach it, I recommend staying by the shoulder and not leaning too much to the hind end. But if you trust your horse enough, then you can get pretty comfortable with it. So you can just go. And that time I asked him to do it without me having to hold him. And he did good. And this is when I use it the most. I just use it with my hand and I just ask. I give pressure. So you see he's not very responsive, so I'll tap him. And ask. And then pat him. So I use that a lot, and I teach it to all the horses I work with because it's a very useful use, and you use it while you're riding, you use it on the ground. It's one of my favorite exercises, and it also teaches them to respect your personal space a little, and that when you're looking at them, it also teaches them that when you look at each part of their body, it has a meaning to it. So it has a lot of eye pressure to it. And my mare, even though she tried to kick me in the face while I asked her to do it, she's gotten really good at it because I worked her on it really hard because she didn't like doing it. So I just have to simply look at her butt and she turns it. But that's one of the things I wanted to do, and I'll do this for like 5 minutes. I'll spin them around 5 minutes on each side and then stop them and then switch sides. I want him to focus on he's not on the flies right now. Right now I'm asking him to. There we go. That time he was very sensitive. So I'll scratch him. When I'm asking him for it, I don't want him thinking about the flies. I want him to think about me. As soon as I give him the release, he can go bother that fly. But unless I'm asking him, he can't be focused on the flies. So this side too. Good boy. Now, normally I prefer prefer training with a trash bag on my thing because I don't really like poking them with it. So I just use the trash bag as sorry bud, as you know, a way of communicating. But I don't have my trash bag on my whip right now, so I just poke them around with it. Now the next thing you can teach them, you don't really need the whip for this, is to back up with the pressure. Back up. And you sort of want them to back away without me having to use rein, but actually more of me walking towards him. Back up. Now, if you're teaching a horse who's very green and hasn't been ridden before and you're getting him used to commands riding, I did this with a very green Mustang I owned who didn't ride in a bit. And you take the bit and you do like you would do if you were on the horse and you back him up with the bit. Back up. Back up. Back up. Very important. Release the pressure of the bit as soon as he backs up. As soon. Not before. Not after. As soon as he backs up, you want to release it. You want to get him very sensitive to that pressure and release. And then you get a really nice back up. Which, in my opinion, is a really good thing to teach a horse. If they got a solid back up, they have a solid stop. You have a very solid way of stopping if you get in trouble. What are you doing, Cooper? What is it? You got something itchy down here? What's itching you? Oh, that's itchy. That's itchy. Oh, my. Anyhow, yeah. That's sort of like, I wanted to do a bit of groundwork because he was being a little pushy with their weight. They get more pushy with their weight during fly season because they get really used to scraping the flies off on the other horses. So then he'll walk over and he'll try to, you know, scrape a fly off me. But I'm like, you know, 100 pounds. He's over 1,000. That doesn't end out well. So if he does that, you know, I just give him a little nudge on his shoulder, on his butt, and ask him to move away from me politely. Anywho, that was just a bit of, you know, something I wanted to show you. The other thing I wanted to do today is I actually have this set up for a reason. I wanted to just play around with having 2 sets of reins. One for his bit, and then I wanted one for his halter. So I can sort of, if I want to hold his head in place, and I don't necessarily want to use my bit for that, I can use this. So if I want to use a lot more connection, and not have to be pulling on his mouth constantly. I also wanted to see how he does with it. I have ridden him in the halter before. He wasn't the most responsive to riding in the halter. But it's good to train him to ride in a halter. Easy. So you have my 2 sets of reins. I probably won't use the halter much, but it'll be fun to experiment with.